Yo, what's up gamers? Welcome back to the channel, and recently, I've been having a bit of an originality crisis. I mean, just look at this. To combat this, I've decided to start reporting the news weeks after it happens. Yes, only now. It was either that or covering VTuber drama. Now, what's the one game that's more deserted than Quake? Yeah, that's right, Halo Infinite, of course. But, how did it get this way? Well, gamers, it's time for a story. Believe it or not, but one day in 2007, Halo ruled the world. Because what else were you gonna do, play Modern Warfare? Ever since Bungie left and COD took over, the Halo franchise kinda died out. I mean, it took 6 years to get a new Halo game after 5, but what they were showing off about the upcoming Halo was good stuff. It was looking like a much faster paced Halo, with a bunch of new mechanics like that grappling hook and shields. One could make the case that there was going to be infinite possibilities with this game. Unless campaign co-op was one of them. Now let's be real here, no one really cares about campaign co-op, so losing it at launch isn't a big deal. Forge definitely has its following, but what people mostly care about is the free-to-play multiplayer. Without the multiplayer, how else could they have gotten Halo Mountain Dew? And so everyone was eagerly awaiting December 8th. Battlefield had already bombed, and the COD community was still bipolar as usual, but this was shaping up to be the greatest. Oh shit, it's out already? Yeah, so Microsoft released the multiplayer a month before the rest of the game, and it was great. 250,000 players got on at once to play their first match, and it was glorious. But this was only the beginning of the end. When players first logged into the game, they immediately experienced everything the game had to offer, like quick play. So as it turns out, the game didn't launch with any playlists, meaning that the game mode you were playing was completely random. But I guess since this is a beta, 343 just wanted people to play every game mode so that way they can receive more feedback. Or maybe they just didn't plan to add them in the game at all. Yes, so it turns out even by the original release date of the game, playlists were still not going to be ready. And this is a big problem, because Capture the Flag sucks. Oh hey, remember when co-op in Forge got delayed? Well, it turns out they want to release it alongside Season 2, meaning that they made Season 1 6 months long. That means no new maps, weapons, or Battle Pass. And speaking of the Battle Pass, this might be the worst Battle Pass in the industry. Why I especially love is that you unlock the left and right versions of the same shoulder pad separately. Oh, and while we're vaguely on the topic of customization, it is absolutely horrible in this game. You see, they got everything separated out into armor cores, meaning that accessories from one core can't be used on another. For some reason. Meaning your $10 cat ears are useless to a samurai. Alright, these things aren't that important to the longevity of the game, but hey, at least the maps are good. Right? While it is true there are a few good maps, there's some real stinkers in this game. Like Behemoth and Launch Site. Over the course of November and December, it was obvious that 343 didn't really care about the player experience here. They were more concerned about shipping out shop updates every week than fixing major problems with the game. And the stuff they were putting out in the shop wasn't even good. Like wow, I can attach a V card directly to my gun. And from this lack of any effort from 343, the game died out within a couple of months. And when this is the face of your brand, that's not a good thing. So while 343 was busy doing dear god anything but work, Paramount was working on a new show based off of the series to release on their streaming platform. But that won't be out for a couple of months. So, what's 343 doing to keep the series alive? Nothing. And at this point the fans are worried. It seems like 343 has completely lost interest in the game, so now they need something to blame their lack of progress on. Of course, it can't be their upper management, because that would just be ridiculous. But for now, nothing short of a war could explain their lack of progress. I didn't say it had to be a war that affected them. Yes, that's right, they're using a war thousands of miles away to justify their lack of progress on the game. And yes, it's every bit as pathetic as it sounds. But 343 is clean as the driven snow. It's the fans who are in the wrong. How do you expect them to work on the game when this motherfucker exists? Luckily, Paramount's been hard at work making the show, and you can trust these guys, they made SpongeBob for crying out loud. Well anyways, it's coming out on March 24th, and oh dear. They didn't even look at the game! Well, this show didn't exactly have the best reception. Well, for one, take a look at the CGI. This is disgusting, I've seen Disney Channel do better. Oh, and that's not even the worst of it. Take for instance this unfinished prop that made its way into the final cut. Yep, that's $100 million at work. Yep, that's right, they spent $10 million on each episode of this show. But apparently it did well enough to warrant a second season. or this is all just part of some laundering scheme. But at this point, Halo's more successful as a show than a video game, kinda like Sonic the Hedgehog. As for the games, 343 finally released a roadmap of what the future of Halo is gonna look like, and it seems that there's gonna be some new content. About time. They added new maps, new modes, a new battle pass, as well as campaign mission replay and a Forge beta on the horizon. Things were finally looking good for this game, but it wasn't meant to last. So in the half a year the game's been out, it finally received its first new maps. Congratulations 343. Oh, and the battle pass for this season is even worse than the original. Unfortunately at this point, all the content they added in Season 2 is too little too late. Everyone's already moved on from the game. And looking into the months ahead, the player count's just gonna keep dropping, with Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 coming out this fall. And once again, 343 is delaying major updates until winter. Yep, that's right, even after a full year since the game launched, there still will not be campaign co-op. And what's worse is that they delayed Season 3 until spring of next year, meaning that Season 2 will be 10 months long. But hey, at least we're getting our first new weapon, 16 months after launch. Halo Infinite has the skeleton of a great game, but its lack of content and support has completely killed the player count, and I doubt it can ever recover. This game released at the perfect time, with players exhausted of COD and Battlefield. Now don't get me wrong, I wanted to love this game, but with all of its glaring issues and lack of content, I just gave it up, and so did thousands of other players. For once, Halo finally had a chance to make a comeback, but 343's incompetence ruined it. I doubt that Infinite can ever reclaim its player base, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because 343 head Bonnie Ross has resigned. Hopefully that means that 343 will get better management and will be able to get their shit together, because it doesn't matter how much passion a studio has. If they're not properly managed, they're not going to get anything done. Hopefully they have it all together by the Halo World Championship, so Bonnie Ross can cheer alongside the 12 remaining fans. Thank you, Bonnie, but the future is brighter without you. Well gamers, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue my ritual of reminding you all to like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel. But gamers, I've realized something. I joined the thousands of other players during the mass exodus, meaning I'm not original in my feelings for this game. If I'm to be truly original on this site, I need to do something bolder. Yeah, like covering drama months after it happens. So, there's this VTuber named Crony, and basically, she cucked her fans after talking to another man. Oh, come on!